Hello, welcome to the Little Pershore kitchen. Today we're baking Irish soda bread, which is a recipe I've taken from the BBC Good Food magazine guide, which can be found online. Right, good morning. Welcome to the Little Pershore kitchen, and this morning we are going to make soda bread. It's an easy recipe, needing only about half a dozen ingredients, so we'll make a start straight away. Start with, we need 250 grams of plain flour. I tend to use a fairly good quality one rather than an own brand one because I know its value. And then 250 grams of Alison's plain wholemeal flour. It doesn't need to be bread flour. We also need, we pop that into the bowl. We also need We also need 100 grams of porridge oats, and it's important to weigh and measure all these ingredients because this is a fairly exact science bread making, I believe. Grams of porridge oats going in. To that we add 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate soda. It's probably better to have all your instruments nearby, but hey ho. Teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. Teaspoon of salt. And 25 grams of butter already chopped. Mix around. I use the mixer, however you don't need to do that. You can do this using a knife or your own hands. I prefer to do that in this way, it makes it a better mix, but it's not necessary. To all of that we add 500 ml of buttermilk. Now these are Dale Farm Lakeland ones, and it actually comes as a 250 ml pot. Some other brands only do them in 268 ml, so therefore you're wasting a little bit, and probably easier to get these and it's cheaper. So we add that to the mixture. Before we do that, we're just mixing the butter a little bit. So just put it on a reasonably adding buttermilk now while the mix is moving, just to make sure it's incorporated properly. Now this is a very wet mix, so don't worry if it looks very wet and sticky. It looks that way, that's meant to. Just have that look. Incorporated. Takes a couple of minutes, that's all. Once you're happy that it's reasonably well incorporated, we take it out of the mixing bowl and we add it onto a floured board. So we're just going to take the dough out now and put it on this board. I've got a little marble top which is quite useful for bread and pastry, stops it sticking to your working top. This is where the messy bit comes in. Yeah. So just work it in a little bit. It is very sticky, as I said earlier on, so don't panic if you think it's far too sticky. Believe me, trust me, it does work. Now, some can make one complete loaf like this, just bring it all together, but we like to do two separate ones just because it keeps better, and in my opinion probably cooks better as well. So I'm going to divide my mixture into two. Prior to starting cooking, we've got a non-stick baking sheet, greased first, and then a little sprinkle of flour on top which stops the bread sticking to the pan. I've also preheated the oven to 180, so make sure your oven is hot. So we just make a little round balls like this. And that's it really, that's your soda bread made. Made in less than time it takes to go to the shops to buy it. What we do here is make a cross, and this is to let the little leprechauns or fairies out depending on which part of the country you live in. I like to think it lets the fairies out. One there, and one there. Okay, so I'm going to pop that into the oven now for about 35 to 40 minutes at the most, and we'll check them, come back and see that when they've come out. Right, while we're waiting for our bread to bake, which will take about 30 minutes as I previously said, I'm just going to recap over what we use, what we need and what we need to do, just in case you missed anything. So it's a non-yeast Irish soda bread. All we need then is plain flour, 250 grams, plain flour 250 grams, wholemeal flour, it doesn't need to be bread flour, again 250 grams, porridge oats, any make, any kind will do, 100 grams of porridge oats. We then just need 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, teaspoon of salt, 500 mils of buttermilk, and 25 grams of butter. Does need to be the hard butter, the normal kind of butter, not a pre-softened one or processed one. It is a hard block butter, 25 grams, that's all you'll need of that. I used butter to grease the baking sheet as well. As you saw, we mixed it all together fairly quickly. You don't need to over mix it too much because it dries up very quickly. You need to work quickly with it, and you need to get it in the oven as fast as possible. Again, I divided mine into two. You don't need to do that, but it just takes a little bit longer than the recipe says if you're going to make one big loaf. Again, I prefer the two. Hopefully when we see them you'll see why. We wanted to preheat our oven to 200 centigrade gas or fan 180 centigrade. You dust your baking sheet, have everything ready. Once your bread is in the process of being made, you need to have everything to hand, your utensils and ingredients, rather than have to go looking around for them. Okay, so we're just going to check now, 30 minutes, and we're just going to check the bread. Now, what I tend to do is just turn the bread over for probably about 5 minutes to make sure that the underside is cooked. So, looking absolutely gorgeous, as you can see. I think it does need a little bit more cooking. So just turn them over, as you can see. The bottom's looking nice and brown. So we'll just give that 5 minutes, and then we'll come back again, and then hopefully you'll be able to see the finished product. Rustic's the look, I think. Okay, so I think the bread's now ready. We're just going to take it out. Come these little fat boys. There's our soda bread. 2 nice loaves. They are supposed to look rustic. Just to check that they're done, what you need to do is tap the bottom, listen. If you get that lovely hollow sound, you know that they're cooked inside. And the same with the other one. Nice hollow sound. All we do now is leave them to cool. Now, the tea towel, it's recommended that you put tea towel over the top, and that just keeps the crust nice and soft and stops it hardening up. So we'll do that and leave that until we're ready to eat. So just wrap them up. And just leave them to cool. 20 minutes or so, half an hour, depends if you want your bread hot or cold. There we are. Irish soda bread. Hello again, just going to show you what the bread looks like now it's cooked. So we're taking it out of its wrap, it's still warm, smells delicious, just and there we have it. It's quite a soft mixture. It's not the same texture as normal bread that you'd buy in the shop. This is a slightly heavier bread, but tastes absolutely delicious, as Mr. W will confirm when he eats it. That's the end of our film for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you found this one useful in some way of getting you cooking again in the kitchen. Thank you to my technical director, Mr. W, always there. And if you like this, please subscribe to our channel, press like, and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.